Well, you get me and Tolly again for game 2. It's going to be Elevate up against Cyclone now. Elevate, we're the 3rd seeded team in the Gauntlet overall here, and they've made a couple of roster changes, Tolly.
That's true. They did move away Nilissa from middle. They moved WorldEdit into mid from jungle, and they picked up Faeles, or Faeles.
Fails.
Fails.
Because he fails. He used to be called Jungler, so like you never know what he is. But I've always called him Fails. It's not like he does fail, but he used to play with this roster before. Like he played with the Myrmidons when he was with MoGoW, as well as the dual lane of Dardez and Jermain. So it's not big changes there overall. But WorldEdit going to the mid lane, very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. And Faeles also coming from Circa Esports, being able to show what he was capable of in group number C-Land. So he does have a little bit of synergy with the members of Elevate right now, so we'll see how they transition now against CycloneGG. Now, they're not really warmed up as much as Cyclone, but at the same time, they did see what Cyclone was capable of in that last set.
Well, they did perform better in the group stages at the lands, and that's the big key for them getting this number 3 seed over Cyclone, who went class as number 4 there. So it's bottom 2 SPL facing off here for a chance to move on to face Cringe Crew next.
Which is going to be a very difficult task for either one of them, but heading into this matchup right now, I'm looking for the kind of early aggression for both of these teams. iceicebabyy was doing a great job playing that Wlfy the last game, and as well as the Thor. On top of this, Elevate, now WorldEdit, he was known for his aggressive jungler side, but now going into the mid lane, I like the switch up because between the two junglers now, you have a plug and play for Faeles going into the jungle, but WorldEdit has more knowledge about what his team really wants out of the mid lane, so I like that idea.
Well, let's go into picks and bans and see exactly how this one will play out between the two. Cyclone versus Elevate. Very interesting matchup between them here, and we'll see how this one all starts off. His first pick and first ban will be CycloneGG.
And this is something that they've been doing in their last set against Burrito. They really wanted to go for that first pick, so they were able to get Terra the first game around, and then they got the Athena the second game. They had a lot of crowd control.
I feel that was really like situational against Burrito, though, more than anything else. It was really focused on picking off Burrito more than not. Their support player, Dead Panther, putting the pressure on there. I don't know if they'll do the same thing against Elevate this time around against Dardez.
Athena's not a bad idea to go for that first kind of pick because you have a lot of protection in your silence if they're ever in a little bit of trouble. We saw how NBK got a little bit of support with that Athena ultimate in the earlier stages, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they go for, especially if they have their Terra banned away from them again.
I'm looking at the Breeze brothers in the dual lane for Team Elevate here. Jermain and Dardez have got to have a very good game here. Got a really good opportunity, especially with the aggression that we mentioned about VoteNBK in the last set. If he keeps going aggressive against Dardez and Jermain, he could end up costing him his life a couple of times.
Yeah, just a Rama spamming VEL Jermain over there. I wouldn't be surprised also if Team Elevate even target banned Jermain in the immediate stages of the banning phase.
Very, very possible indeed. It's going to be Freya again from CycloneGG. They also banned the Jing Wei up against their opposition earlier on, Burrito, and Team Elevate will probably go with the Terra Fafnir, I expect.
Terra, definitely, you don't want that option to be taken away when you're second pick. Having that sustain, the crowd control between the root, the stun, the global presence is just too much into one god to be allowed through. So going to take that off the table now. Cyclone with the next ban. It was Jing Wei last time around trying to really focus out just Chaac, and it's going to be that yet again. It's not really target players. I feel like this is just something that Cyclone don't want to deal with.
Yeah, solid bans really. I mean, Jing Wei is just so useful with that passive of being able to rotate back to base if she takes poke. But not only that, she can rotate to team fights a lot quicker as well if she needs to, if they're being invaded in their jungle. It will be Fafnir from Elevate, though, to match Terra. So it's over to CycloneGG. We've seen them draft Athena before. This time, it'll be the Erlang Shen.
It's a nice idea. You have a little bit of flexibility. Could go support, jungle, solo lane. Great tanky frontline presence to be able to really try to lock people down between that root cripple, between the knock-up and the taunt. You just have the best of all three worlds. But now Elevate responding with a Raijin Humbats. A lot of damage.
Yeah, just solid picks there for the most part. Raijin pretty safe and solid in the mid lane. Everybody knows that already. WorldEdit going to be playing the mid lane this game. Kind of makes sense that you just go for something really simplistic to play. Double Erlang Shed OP.
That is OP.
Yeah, it is.
That is really good strategies coming out of CycloneGG. I don't know why none other team has thought about that one. There's going to be 3 Erlang Shens.
Just 3. If in doubt, pick 3 of them, because that's the way you win games overall here. We'll get that fixed in a moment. I do apologize for the technical issues with that one. And it will be an Erlang Shen first pick into a Rama and an Athena as well. So they've gone for the dual lane core already here, Tolly.
And they also take away the Ram from Jermain, which is so important. You don't want to allow him to be so comfortable in the laning phase. The way he hits those snipes, the way he also is able to steal away Wlfy with just one random in hand is just like not something you want to be dealing with, especially the mentality of having a Rama VL at you. Like, no, you don't want to deal with that.
No, nobody wants to deal with that. Anhur going to be picked up for Elevate in response here as well. So Jermain has the Anhur available to him this game, going for more aggression. Obviously, not going to be able to play the Rama that he likes to, but Rama into Anhur. Anhur has his way with Rama in the early stages.
That's true. He's going to be able to have more ability damage in the early game. He's going to be able to really lock you down if he has a good Guardian to kind of synergize with that. There's still a lot of options in terms of setup between the Sobek, the Kumakara, even Bacchus is available.
Very true. Bacchus as well, one of the real big go-tos for Dardez over in the dual lane for Elevate. But they're going to take away Raw after locking in Raijin here. Wise pick. They saw what Cyclone did against Burrito there with the sustain compositions being an available thing. And with Athena, you don't want to deal with double taunt on a Raw snipe coming through.
Yes, Erlang, Shen, and Athena is just too much setup for the Raw to handle. But it's going to be an Odin ban from CycloneGG. It is MoGoW playing the solo lane for Team Elevate. He's known for his Odin, he's known for his Hades, but it's going to be a Ymir ban. So banning away walls and lockdowns, allowing the ROM on MBK to really get some free movement, not having to go for the Phantom onto the Athena.
Yeah, a bit surprised by the Odin, just worried about Erlang, Shen, and Athena both can't escape the ring for the most part. Athena can with her ultimate, but she won't really want to for the grand scheme of things. Or maybe they just want to draft things for the mid lane that don't have actual leaps out of that ring.
It could be another, oh no, Vulcan is banned away from Team Elevate, so can't really go with that option. Scylla is available, so that'll be a really great idea to try to go for that. But more crowd control with Agni. Once they get to the late game, those bombs are going to hurt.
That's why they drafted the ban the Odin. That's the only reason I can see that. They really wanted the Agni pick there. They were going to expect to have Vulcan and Raw banned against them for the most part, so they're like, right, ban Odin because we can't escape the ring if we're going to pick Agni.
And that's going to be a great way to really get out of that early game, having the Agni being really well protected by the Erlang and the Athena frontline presence. The Rama as well in the late game damage is quite there for Cyclone. On the side of Team Elevate, they're able to draft out that Sobek, which is still another flex pick. They're not really committing between their solo or support quite yet.
And with that, you can confirm that either Erlang Shen, more than likely Erlang Shen, will be in the solo lane here, and Athena going to not to Dardez. Erlang Shen in the solo lane, and Athena going the way of Callus this game once more with Nemesis in the jungle.
And it's going to be a shock for MoGoW, surprisingly enough. Dardez is going to be playing the Sobek, which is good early lane presence between the Bruise brothers, trying to find an early kill.
That's true.
And I don't know. Chaac is really good here in terms of being able to clear safely, right? Erlang Shen wants to be able to box you if possible, so you could clear safely with that axe and the torrent combination, but into team fights, you don't have the same kind of control.
And that's the thing, the team fights, the Nemesis against a Chaac is a great win for Nemesis there overall. I mean, just to be able to steal those protections as well, just makes Chaac an easy axe wielding target.
Especially, like, you don't even, before the team fights happen, you could just see the Nemesis gank the Chaac every single time, and that's not going to allow him to really get any sort of momentum going into the early laning phase. So there's going to have to be an early winged blade coming out of MoGoW if he wants to survive any sort of gank coming from iceicebabyy.
Well, going to be an interesting one to see how this one plays out between the two teams early on. Ward's placed down by Elevate on the right-hand side, on the left for Deathwalker and the boys of Cyclone. You can see one at those left-hand harpies yet again. Now, we did see an interesting start last time round up against Burrito, but I think that was just because of a Hou-Yi being in the game and the chance of an invade.
Yeah, the Hou-Yi definitely provides a really great clear in the earlier game, so not going to have to deal with that this game around. Now, we see both Hunters electing to go for the Death Toll into the Devour Gauntlets right off the bat. They're expecting both of them to play so aggressive, so that way they really want to be able to out-sustain the other.
Yeah, Soulstone in the mid lane for both the two mid laners as well here. And WorldEdit's lane pressure should be a little bit stronger than Agni's just because of positioning more than anything else, I feel. Because Agni will have to dash through that wave. Wlfy's going to have to watch that level 1 start.
Absolutely. Now we're going to see both back harpies being started by both teams. MBK should be getting there a little bit quicker than Jermain. So I expect Callus and MBK to get a little bit more control in the dual laning phase. The Sobek doesn't have the same kind of clear as an Athena shield wall in level 1.
Interesting that Wlfy did take Flame Wave here and not his Path of Flames to start this one off. So going to walk right up to the damage and give some in return. Going to eat Archer Poke there overall. And the grand scheme of things, he went even.
It definitely went even, but Wlfy didn't have to take that much poke. He had his passive up, which means that his next ability will have more damage over time, which means he's also going to get hit by those archers. So that's not something that you really want to be getting hit by as an Agni. But he did get multi-pots expecting that kind of poke. No mana pots.
Yeah, it looked like that was the whole plan, especially with the tiny trinket that he started with as well for the extra life lifesteal start. So looking to put extra pressure on him. With that WorldEdit, he's now at amount of health potions already in the beginning of this game.
iceice trying to get some return poke, though, with his slice and dice on the left side. We see the rotation coming out of Calus, just being able to set up the rotation from iceice. Right side mid-harpies are still available, though.
And meanwhile, that's going to actually allow Wlfy to control the mid lane and make sure the right ones don't get taken either. And look, the monkey's actually going to find 2 in the jungle there, but Calus dashed away, not towards, as Wlfy looked to poke WorldEdit, and instead he eats an overhand smash.
Yeah, with Calus rotating to the left side mid-harpies, that allowed Dardez and Jermain to outpush MBK, which also means that they're going to collapse onto you if you're not careful, so having to respect that rotation. We saw Cyclone back off, and now it's going to be Elevate trying to get at least a right side mid-harpies of their own, but the slice and dice not able to hit it, but I think he might have in-handed one of those.
He did at least get one of them, I think, iceicebabyy there, which evened things up. Right-hand side, MoGoW taking a lot of poke there from Deathwalker up against the Chaac. Interesting matchup here, Tolly. Erlang Shen versus Chaac. Who's got the advantage?
So the sustain is definitely in favor of Deathwalker with the Death's Toll, because Chaac only has the level 1 healing rain, which is not the most in the world. You're going to have to get that at level 3 or 4 to really start winning the trade pokes. And Deathwalker being able to just attack clear, AoE clear, that's going to give him a little bit of an advantage. But MoGoW, he's going to be able to outclear a little bit quicker with his Axe Torn combination, especially with the Bluestone Pennant. If he didn't get his heal at all, then he full clears the wave at level 4.
Well, on top of that as well, I mean, Torrent, this stage of the game, you don't actually... You're not unable to cast it anymore. You can cast it even when you are crippled. The old days of Chaac, you would be hit by that with the torrent. So you couldn't actually do anything. You just stand there and not do a single thing and feel really bad about yourself.
No, not at all. And now Deathwalker's trying to set himself up for those Fire Giant Elementals, or as the Gremlins, like the Europeans like to call them instead. And that's going to make him lose a little bit of gold under that tower, but the difference between getting that 90 gold, as long as he clears the archers in the long run, he'll come out on top.
Left-hand side of things here, you can see how pinned Cyclone are underneath their tier 1 tower. And that's all down to Calus's rotation for the left-hand Harpies. Yes, it put his mid laner and jungler potentially a little bit further ahead, but it did put him in an awkward spot in terms of lane pressure on this left-hand side. Luckily enough, however, I don't think we'll see an invade coming out from Elevate into the jungle on that side of the map, just because of where their mid and jungle are.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be...
Oh, I say that, but they're still going for it.
I mean, they're going to try to go for something here. Anhur Sobek is strong enough with just their abilities that you could get an early pick, especially if it's going to be onto the Athena that doesn't have
Athena's
any sort of purification.
Impaled as well, and the pillar is perfect. The full Desert Fury is going to go through, but Calus is still alive here for the time being. They haven't got the damage to bring him down just yet. Calus stands. He lives with 1 health. The shell made so much work, and now it's Dardez who will fall down for first blood. What in the world?
The body blocks were perfect coming out of Jermain. He got the pillar, he got the stun. He immediately, as he was ulting, moved a little bit closer just to not allow any escape from Calus. And on top of this, it also bought time for Dardez to fully charge up that lurking in the water, but the damage wasn't quite there. Like you mentioned, the shell was popped and kept him alive. And the rotation also from Wlfy was perfectly timed to be able to find that return kill.
Yeah, the Wlfy rotation on the Agni. I mean, they knew they could have been looking for the red buff, and they weren't. But there's a pluck in mid lane now. Pressure onto iceicebabyy, who can't charge straight away, thanks to the knock-up coming out there from Dardez. But the first blood falling onto him, and goes the way of Wlfy in the mid lane as well. Very important for Cyclone.
And now Cyclone getting those left side mid Harpies. They're going to start going for their own buffs. We see the rotation from Deathwalker after clearing the waves. Going to set up himself for another Gremlin camp, as the rest of Cyclone still looking for the right opportunity.
This composition from Cyclone is so good, though. I really like what they've actually drafted here, with the Nemesis in the jungle too, with 2 taunts on the front side, with a Nemesis able to dip in and out, as well as an Agni that can then just shred people down when the protections have disappeared.
But now Dardez eating 2 bombs for his troubles. The Raijin drums are coming out. Calus, though, this time he does go down. The shell not available to escape that time. iceice trying to steal yet again. Not really going to be able to find that one. So losing out Calus there, really unfortunate.
Yeah, weird little play coming out from Cyclone. They kind of engaged that, then backed off, and then hung around again. And the Elevate were like, okay, well, we'll pick up a free kill in response. Dardez going to pluck iceice, and iceice going to get flipped in the air, and Thunder crashed on as well to deny the dash. Still under pressure is iceice, but he will finally dash away as Calus comes back into the fray.
Great disengage, preventing the defender of Olympus from hitting Dardez, using that lurking in the water immediately after getting hit by that Nemesis ultimate is a great way to negate that slow effect. So that's going to be a clean disengage, and now the rest of Elevate are going to back off and try to reset as the mid Harpies will respawn.
Well, things have worked out okay for the mid lane at WorldEdit here, replacing Nulissa in the mid lane after being the jungler for this team. Now level 8, even with the Agni, both have a kill to the name as well. Gold differential between the two obviously favors Wlfy just because he got that first blood.
It seems that maybe the switch was because of the synergy between the mid jungler. We heard the communications during the Group C LAN. Sometimes that Nalissa wanted to play a little bit more passively while the rest of her team really wanted to keep going forward.
And now, because of that, look at the grouping up of Wlfy over to the left-hand side. The red buff not available. Just going to get some Wlfy control. iceicebabyy going to go and say hello to MoGoW, but MoGoW not interested in answering the door. He'll go back to base.
Speed buff is about to respawn for Wlfy. This could be a potential invade coming out of Cyclone if they recognize it, but nobody's really visible on the map, so have to be very careful. You could easily get collapsed on 3-on-2, but yet again, I think this is the third camp coming for Deathwalker.
And those imps add up as well. I mean, they're all 30 gold each as well, so you get all three. That's 90 gold every single time they spawn. And that 90 gold, if you think about getting 3 of those, you're approaching 300 already.
Yeah, at that point in time, that's why we see the separate experience and gold gap between the Solars. But now Dardez taking so much poke, he's going to have to be going onto his tier 1 tower. He will be safe for now, forcing out that Nemesis ult.
Yeah, that Nemesis ult now being on cooldown as well. Is a little bit of a longer cooldown than it used to be as well, so he's going to have a bit of downtime now, iceicebabyy, on having that available. You can see he's over 70 seconds still remaining.
Now Dardez really wants to get to this wave to use that sickening strike to be able to heal up and stay in the laning phase. He doesn't really want to back quite yet. We see the boars respawning for Jermain as he's about to go for that, as he was able to clear the wave first. And that's the one advantage that Rama versus Anhur is the fact that Jermain, he's going to be able to really poke you out with the impale.
Left on hop, he's not going to be contested there. Wlfy hits level 9 off those and heads back towards mid. Going to meet Raijin there as well, but not going to get hit for now. So as long as he doesn't get hit by Raijin for now, that damage will not confirm.
That was really smart play from iceicebabyy, being able to absorb that one in-hand from WorldEdit, not being able to connect onto Wlfy that was marked earlier on.
But look at this from Wlfy. They're going to go for the Wlfy here, at least bait it out. Dardez waiting around the corner, and Cyclone having ideas of going down. Dardez not going to find the pluck he's after, and instead he needs a lot more poke. The drums of war sounded by WorldEdit to help out his support, but Dardez is still very low, forced to meditate as well.
And now MBK could have used the snipes. He actually did use the snipes, getting Dardez even lower after the meditation. So Dardez is going to have to take a trip back to the fountain if he wants to stay in here. Right-hand side, though, we see still staying in the laning phases. Deathwalker, as MoGoW did rotate for these right side mids, going to be able to pick that one up. And he's still down a little bit, about 200 gold behind Deathwalker.
A lot of focus onto Dardez on the Sobek so far, and you can kind of expect that when you're up against the Nemesis, that they will try and pick them off, but they've not found the picks. And that's actually causing them a couple of problems now as time goes on, because all this investment could get turned around on.
Great play from Deathwalker, being able to limit the rotation from MoGoW, is still denying more gold and experience as the wave was getting destroyed by that tower. So it's a small little play that you can do in both side lanes if you have the positional advantage. After you clear the wave first, just sit in the jungle, create a little bit of a confusion for the enemy as to where you went, but you're just there to stop the rotation.
It's Elevate the ones that are trying to force the fight more often than not here, but Cyclone just doing a very good job of answering back every single time. Solo laner's Deathwalker gone yet again for this Witchblade up against the Chaac this time round. And MoGoW looking more than likely for Breastplate of Valor here, do we expect?
More than likely, I wouldn't expect a Breastplate of... Well, actually, it could be a Breastplate of Valor knowing that it's Chaac. I was thinking that it could also be the Hide of Enemy in line, trying to absorb some of the in-hands from iceicebabyy, but it's going to be providing more protection than a Breastplate of Valor would anyway, which helps out Nemesis ulti.
WorldEdit and Wlfy trading off, and Wlfy not winning that trade at all. WorldEdit Thunder crashed away from the bomb that was raining down with those extra frames of immunity.
And now Wlfy left alone though, so we could see potential aggression, but Dardez is going to back off. Speed buff is respawning. That's something that you really have to protect if you're afraid of any sort of invades, but you do leave the left side of the map exposed, and that's exactly where Cyclone are about to go to. They're grabbing the left side mids.
Not mentioned Jermain's lane too much other than the start of the game when we look for that first blood pick up there, but he will be pretty solid as this game goes on the Anhur as well. Has the Devour's Gauntlet pretty much fully stacked up, as does VoteNBK here. And at the moment, it feels like we could just come down to one massive team fight totally that makes a difference.
It's just more of a bait between Dardez. That's the theme of this whole team fight. Dardez looks for a plug, the rest of Cyclone go for the counter engage, and then Elevate go for the counter engage on the counter engage.
And now on the left-hand side, you can see that iceicebaby's turned up, but Jermain's not going to get contested here whatsoever, and Vote will just pick up his farm for free. The God Fury still stands as Deathwalker trying to meet MoGoW in the jungle, but MoGoW's not really that interested.
He does get spotted out by the ward, so that's a really great counter response from MoGoW, just to see where exactly Deathwalker goes after clearing that wave. And there's been not that much action in the dual lane as much as we would have thought between such aggressive players of Jermain and MBK, just wanting to really get into the team fights instead. And as a result, there hasn't been many plays around this Wlfy because neither team really wanted to explore the option of getting a Wrath for this early objective control.
Well, Faeles in the jungle playing for Elevate here, his first game of the season with them, stepping in to this roster at the moment. He's a couple of 100 gold down on iceicebabyy right now, but he is the Batz, kept pacing level at least.
Still looking for the right opportunity to maybe teleport to that monkey, force the fear no evil, maybe create a little bit of a havoc, start forcing the purifications, but still playing patiently. MoGoW making the rotation. Athena dash taunting onto Dardez.
is in a bit of trouble there, but the bomb's raining down from Wlfy, going to slow down Elevate's advance. Chaac on the front side, getting some, sorry, Deathwalker on the front side, getting some support to focus on Chaac. The drums of war from WorldEdit did channel through, but he's out of mana now, and WorldEdit's going to dash away. The body block from Wlfy, of all people, who dashed through him, but Wlfy's very low. Overhand smash from Faeles, he'll clean up one. VoteNBK looking for the snipes, can't kill WorldEdit, and now the boys of Elevate are here.
The meditate was just so perfect from Dardez being able to keep WorldEdit alive, but now it's Deathwalker in a lot of trouble. He has nowhere to go in the slow range. That's going to be 2 members dead on the side of Cyclone, and now Elevate with a 5-on-3 advantage. They're going to head over to the left-hand side, but they are a little bit low to start this Gold Fury.
Looks like they're just going to take the red buff and take the win of the engagement more than anything else here. They're not going to be able to capitalize on the map in any way and just go back to farming, happy with the kills they got.
The minions are still good enough to the point where if you can squeeze in 1 or 2 extra waves during the respawn timers, that's still a good enough separation between the golden experience. So that's something that's really powerful. Level 14 now onto MoGoW. Going to be able to really control the pace of this game.
Very, very true indeed. 3-1 then, 12 minutes in. Gold difference is about 1,000 at the moment. Actually, no, it's a lie. It's about 500 between the two teams. Experience, though, a little bit favouring Elevate, but at 12 minutes in, that's nothing really, Tony.
No, not at all. But we saw that they were actually down 1,000 gold to Cyclone earlier on. So after that one team fight, they're able to really bring it back into their favor. Still, anything can go at this point. It's still very early in the game, and the battle has between which support can initiate better.
Well, they invested a lot into Dardez just then yet again, and the damage coming out from both teams relatively equal there, but a nice shield from Baby will stop MoGoW getting that axe damage off.
And in the duo lane, we see Jermain trying to get some poke off onto MBK, but MBK respecting the potential box from Jermain. He's been known to kind of make for these plays. And looking at the builds here, he didn't finish for iceicebabyy, instead going for the tier 1 executioner instead.
It's probably because he didn't have enough money winning back to bake, so he's like, I might as well just invest in the 700 to work towards my next item as well.
Yeah, get the attack speed going on, trying to match MBK's natural steroid, which is not something that you really want to be boxing against at this point. His steroid is maxed out and is going to be able to provide him a lot of extra in-hands.
Left-hand Harpy's going to be contested by both teams. Callis the first to initiate, but immediately Dardez lurks in the water. The bombs rain down on him, and Dardez stands tall still. Callis forced to ult as well defensively, but he's very, very low. And with his ultimate down now, there is an opportunity for Elevate to have a 4v5.
It's going to be a 4v5, but we see on the right-hand side MoGoW making the rotation underneath. Instead of going for the gold, they're going for the tier 1 mid tower. This is such great patience on the side of Elevate. You could see the difference of styles between the last set and this one, just how much more control Elevate is doing now, not even committing to that tower.
They always look like a threat at the super regionals for the LAN for themselves did Elevate, but not enough to get them through to the super regionals. They're trying to do it now here up against Cyclone. This is a best of 3, remember, so whoever takes 2 games, they'll move on to face off against Cringe Crew.
Now Elevate grouped up on the right side mid Harpies. They have a little bit of a player advantage, but now with Wlfy there, that's going to be changing the tide. Right side mid Harpies was conceded to Cyclone. Now, Cal is still looking for a dash top, but every time Elevate have an answer for it.
You mentioned that as well. It is really Athena versus Sobek. This is all this game has become. Athena versus Sobek, and who initiates better or who escapes better from the ganks every single time.
Both of them having the Spirit Throw, but opting for different boots instead. We see Khaled's going for the Reinforced Greaves, whereas Dardez is going for the Traveler Shoes, trying to get more mobility out of combat sustain on top of this. And this is something that's been allowing him to really come back into these team fights once he initially survives off of all the cooldowns committed by Cyclone.
Yeah, the HP 5, as well as the additional gold, does help his build a little bit more, but the mobility as well just gets you in range for those plucks a little bit better if you are still out of combat. Still 3-1 at 15 minutes in, and we expect it's going to be one major team fight between these two teams now.
A lot of sentry wards from Cyclone around the Gold Fury, so not going to be able to sneak this time anytime soon is Elevate. Still, both teams playing very carefully and patient. They want to be able to grab their own buffs, wait for somebody to go out of position.
But this benefits Elevate, right? Because they're the ones that like didn't get a warm-up before this. They didn't get to play against Burrito and warm up to the situation. Cyclone haven't really capitalized on that warm-up advantage they had over Elevate. And Elevate, like the longer this goes on, the more comfortable they'll feel in the game.
I would agree with you, but looking at the soul laners between the Erlang, Shen, and the Chaac, I just feel like there's more of a presence in these team fights for Deathwalker to be able to make an impact.
I don't know, man. I mean, Chaac's got a knock-up now, Tony.
He does have a knock-up. You're right there, but at the same time, can you really compete with 3 different forms of CC from Erlang Shen between the root cripple, the knock-up, and the taunt?
Can they do that if he's the silenced and knocked up?
That's true.
Like, Chaac is OP, man.
That's true.
He's closet OP. I think EU actually think he is closet OP right now. Wow. So we'll see how he works out for the boys of Elevate in this game. The Golf Fury is still not looked at by either team. We saw one bait from Elevate around the Golf Fury at the moment, but as we approach the 16 to 17 minute mark as well, this Golf Fury gets more and more valuable, which means one win of it is even bigger. Ooh, that impale is huge.
The stun, but now instantly disengaging. The rest of his team is right behind him, and this is something that Elevate are going to go for. Another slow and steady play. They're going to go for this tier 1 tower. They poke out
MoGoW
MBK.
Gets torn in, MoGoW gets bombed, and he forces a silence onto himself too. Fear no evil onto Deathwalker. In the skies, the Rama snipes doing decent damage to Faeles and MoGoW there, but not enough to stop him. Deathwalker taking on 3 on his own, but where's the support from his team? He's going to get the sustain off and fall back as well. Interesting play from them both. Couple of ultimates from either side used.
Great zoning, though, from Dardez and WorldEdit. This is why we saw Deathwalker being caught in a 1v3 position. That's just great positional advantage from WorldEdit, Dardez, separating the rest of Cyclone, not allowing any follow-up from Deathwalker's ultimate.
So all in all, nothing really happens in that engagement. A lot of ultimates ended up being used, actually, because the whole side of Elevate used every single thing they had, looking for a kill, unable to find it, however.
I really thought that Elevate were going to group up in that tier 1 tower. We saw just how poked MBK was after that initial stun impale coming from Jermain. So now they're going to be able to start up this gold fear. They recognize that MBK didn't back yet, so he's not there yet. Their warding is in favor of Elevate.
And he doesn't have Purification either, so VoteNBK is going to be very careful here. But just those two cleaning that one up. Actually, Golf Fury goes the way of Elevate just in time. Nice little pickup from Elevate. They control the gold lead.
Slow and steady pace, man. This is what Elevate is all about. They were down 1,000 gold earlier. Now they're up 2,000 gold. They're up 2,500 experience, which is not too much heading into the 18-minute mark. This is something that Cyclone can still fight into, as long as they're not all grouped up for the heavy AoE abilities coming out of Elevate. They have MoGoW between his ultimate, his axe. The Fear No Evil can easily set up WorldEdit for all 4 of his drum hits.
Very, very close between these two right now, especially in experience as well. Even when you look down the list, like one lane may have an advantage, but mid lane, there's no advantage for iceicebabyy now. The shield will soak up a lot of that damage from the Drums of War, but Dardez's pluck will pick up a kill for Faeles, and next on the list is going to be Callus.
iceicebaby's Purification was down. Wlfy taking a lot of damage from lurking in the water, but it's not enough to confirm the kill. He has to back off or just create enough space to keep dropping down the bombs. And now looking at iceicebabyy. Oh, the blink into the taunt!
Goodbye, Callus. You will be missed. And now it's 5 versus 3. And those 3 are injured. Wlfy, as you can see on the left-hand side, forced back to base. So Elevate will get a tier 1 tower in mid, and they may look for even more hits, Oli.
Surprise, surprise. Dardez with a blink yet again. This is his signature Sobek play. He loves to go for those surprise blink plug plays, and this allows him for that second important kill for Elevate, which gives the tier 2 tower on top of this, extending their gold lead to about 4.5, almost 5,000 gold.
Yep, tier 1 tower is worth 500 gold for a team. Tier 2 tower is worth 1,500 gold for a team, so 2,000 from that little engagement there in the mid lane. You can still see the game pressure on the left-hand side as well.
And surprisingly enough, iceicebabyy gonna go for a Sunder on his second relic, trying to really lock down these tanky frontliners between MoGoW and Dardez. We just see the height of the Urchin being stacked up by MoGoW, gonna give him even more protections. So this is not a bad idea, but now you have less defensive options. Once you commit heavily, you can't even commit heavily with your double dash. You don't have a Sanctuary to bail you out.
That's true, and I think what we saw from Cyclone there is they were a little bit too pushed up as they are now, but Callus dashed in and got pulled to the backline, was looking for the taunt. Instead, 8 more poke. Callus is isolated from his team, as meanwhile the Desert Fury coming through from Jermain is doing work to the backline, but now he's surrounded. He will fall down to Deathwalker on the rotation. Because of that, he got some good damage off, but can Elevate do anything about it?
They're trying to find MBK in the backhand side, going to be forcing the Purification, but now MoGoW with so much damage. iceicebabyy caught in an awkward position, having to use the shield to buy him some time. Double dash coming out, but Faeles does have the speed buff if he wants to keep chasing this down, and he will.
Monkey toss will connect, jumps to it, and the crit comes through big with the in-hand and the hi-rez.
Just so much damage, so much penetration between this Jotun's Titan's Bane combination. The hi-rez obviously synergizes a little bit more with that passive, so once he finds that crit, you can almost guarantee you're going to see some high numbers out of that one. So overall, that was a 2-for-1 exchange. Elevate, they're not going to be able to get any towers off of this, but they're going to be able to out-farm Cyclone in the process.
This is a solid performance from Elevate this game right now, and they're looking pretty good with it. WorldEdit going to the mid lane is probably the best thing that ever happened to him because he actually looks like a decent player now.
It seems that he's been able to be more confident about making some of these plays. The Faeles WorldEdit combination is both relatively aggressive from what it seems, at least in this first game against Cyclone, and it's been working out. It could potentially backfire if they're too over-aggressive, but this game, it's working.
Yeah, it really is working for the boys of Elevate right now. 21 minutes in this game, and it kind of snowballed all of a sudden about 17 minutes. Is what we can kind of say. It came down to a fight on the left-hand side that ended up being a free goal view for Elevate, and then one pick in mid lane turned into a roller coaster for Cyclone that they couldn't get off.
They just saw that Cyclone were out of position to defend the Gold Fury. The Sentry Wards were in advantage of Elevate, and getting that Gold Fury allowed them to go for more plays once they spent some of that gold, being able to get some power spike items. And
he gets Wlfy again and fails over the wall, jumps in, forcing Wlfy to back away. Didn't use his purification there, but meanwhile on the backside, Deathwalker was dealing with 2 to slow them down. Wlfy's forced his Sanctuary away from the damage from Dardez, but Faeles is still there with MoGoW too. Wlfy has no dash and he'll fall down.
And now Callus, though, he doesn't have his ultimate. He's going to get silenced out, getting plucked back into that tier 1 tower. 2 members dead from Cyclone. So now 5-on-3 for Elevate. They're able to control the pace of the game so well. NBK, he's still on the left-hand side, trying to split push, trying to get some gold back into his team side.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were looking for picks there. I was just seeing if anybody was hanging around near the fire giant so they could start that one up. iceicebabyy, though, he had the right idea. I wanted to say, but he just back to base, and with VoteNBK showing his face on the left-hand side here, this will be a free fire giant in the way of Elevate.
A relatively quick fire giant, I would say. 22-minute mark is not very common to see in a SPL game of Smite, but trading the tier 1 tower for the fire giant is really good here. But NBK gonna go for tier 2. Now, we do see WorldEdit pretty close by, but it's not gonna be in time, unfortunately.
No, not gonna be in time to stop that tier 2 going down, but he will hold the Phoenix as the rest of his team are looking for a tier 2 on the right-hand side to answer that one back. They're not gonna go for the Phoenix either, though. I think they should go back and buy, but WorldEdit going to use the Drums of War, and that reminds me of ultimates that I've seen from him in the jungle.
Yeah, just unfortunately didn't understand the range coming out of the Raijin ultimate. He recognized that the dash was available from NBK, but not going to be able to find the kill. But he's able to really just zone NBK away from this Phoenix because Elevate weren't interested in really committing on the right-hand side. They just wanted to back and reset. By the time they do group up as 5, the ultimate from WorldEdit should be back available.
Very true indeed. Left-hand Harpy's about to spawn, but they're not going to be hotly contested between the two teams. Elevate in a much more dominant position here. What does Cyclone need to do? Because they do have this double taunt composition, but on defense, it's not that easy to really utilize, right?
So Dardez has been hitting some really gnarly plucks, I would say, this game. And on top of all these plucks, they over-committing to him afterwards. He has the Spear Robe, which could just limit so much damage after the CCs. He has the Hardwood Amulet, which also mitigates a lot of damage coming out of Wlfy. So you have to just choose a different target. Don't go onto the Sobek unless you're going to commit all 5 members with the Sunder from iceicebabyy.
The game plan's got to kind of change now, right? Because you've got Faeles in the jungle who's 6-0-4 with a full Deathbringer online on the Batz as well now. Like, you can't go looking for the Sobek anymore. I think it's time to look at the other animals on the side of Elevate.
Yes, absolutely. But having 2 blinks, it's going to be Elevate that's constantly the first ones to engage. So it's not very easy for Cyclones to find anybody out of position. And now Elevate, they're thinking about what they really want to do. It seems that some people want to back, but some... Ooh,
Dardez gets the block and gets the purification out of Wlfy there. He's going to eat a lot of pokers, Dardez there, as well as some crits coming through from VoteNBK. Down to half health is Dardez. And it looks like the call maybe just to retreat.
Well, they found the purification. That's a huge window to really be able to continue the onslaught once you back and buy and reset. There's a lot of gold in hand for the side of Elevate. Looking at it, everybody's over 1,000 gold now, and Cyclone recognized it. They don't want to allow Elevate to back freely. They just want to drag on their Fire Giant buff a little bit. This little bit of a staggered push from Cyclone just strips away about 30 seconds of a Fire Giant from Elevate.
Callus got hit by that puck there. He could be in trouble. I think he still is in trouble because the boys are collapsing in. Wlfy does support with some bombs, and now he's at Deathwalker rotating around the corner. Going to get hit by a Athena Evil as well. Deathwalker's in trouble, and he He's running for his life. The drums of war coming through, and Dardez gets credit for the kill. This was Cyclone pushing too far forward and not realizing that Dardez was hanging around, as well as the whole team of Elevate. So they get a kill away from the Phoenixes.
And now Dardez still looking for Plux. He does have the Traveler shoes to really continue the chase. Finds Callus, and that's going to be MoGoW following up, but the dash is going to allow him to retreat into safety. 5 members from Elevate grouped up in this mid Phoenix. Nobody really here to respond from Cyclone.
And now that's going to be a Phoenix in the mid lane down with the minions coming in as well. Cyclone can do nothing about that. Immediately Elevate with a man advantage of Deathwalker still being down. And the damage over the wall from WorldEdit there. It actually looks like he's installed the game now. The Phoenix is now under threat.
That's going to be a 5-on-3 on this left side Phoenix while they're waiting for the health sustain from MBK in the fountain. Now MoGoW dropping the axe. He doesn't want to commit quite yet, but he creates a huge slowing field with that rain, and now it's going to be Faeles jumping away. They grab the second Phoenix of the game. Elevate still backing off. They have Fire Giant for a little bit longer, and they're going to retreat into safety.
Yeah, I don't think they need to go any further than that. They got the win, and if Cyclone chase them again, last time this happened, they got pinched, and Callus gets pinched again, pulled into danger, knocked up in the air. The burst damage from the 2 carries are right there. Callus is 1 hit, and the Thunder Crash from WorldEdit will get it. Ice Baby stays alive because of the shield for 1 more second, but in come the boys of Elevate one more time, looking to close out this game, and they're looking at VoteNBK.
Oh my god, the crits are so real, and MBK falls, so that's 2 members dead. Ice is the 3rd victim. A nice pluck onto Wlfy, pinned against the wall, but the Sanctuary keeping him alive for a little bit longer. Dardez unfortunately gets punished. MoGoW barely able to survive the passive coming out of Wlfy. Now Deathwalker finds the javelin toss from a distance, but can he get away?
No, he can't. Fails to pick up the kill, and Jermain will clean up Wlfy, and everybody on the side of Cyclone is dead for a good 5 seconds until Callus comes up. Faeles falls down, and they're waiting for minions.
They're just going to have to wait for the fire minions in the mid lane. It's going to be a very easy cleanup for Elevate, winning their first game. Very convincing, although Callus is here to try to defend this, but it's not going to be enough. First game, Elevate.
Fantastic win from Elevate, and all the boys in Elevate there as well. Dardez got focused, like we said, all game, early game, but he still managed to live majority of the time, and the tide of the battle turned because of that. Then later on, he initiated so many times that made an impact for the team.
I think Dardez was the MVP for Elevate that game. The blink plug play, I think it was onto Callus in the mid lane, which allowed them to go for that tier 2 mid tower. They're able to really take advantage of all these initiations from Dardez.
It's funny because Callus and Sobek, Athena and Sobek, both were initiators, were both focused in that game so heavily that ended up winning the game for Elevate overall.
And unfortunately for Cyclone, they just overcommitted too many abilities on such a tanky target. They didn't commit the Nemesis and the Nemesis ultimate, the Sunder, and all the abilities, right? Every time Wlfy was getting plucked, he tried to return with the bombs, didn't have the follow-up to confirm the kill, and as a result, Dardez just kept getting away barely with his life.
Well, the good news